Dike, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm doing good.
Dike, you're not one of the people that I respect so much. I know I don't tell you this often time. You're one of the people that I respect so much. And that's because of how and what you've been through. And we're going to be sharing that today. Are you ready? So tell me, how was growing up for you?
Life for me was crazy. I wouldn't say I experienced this suffering at a very young age because my dad was like a workaholic. My dad was a hustler. It was
Yeah.
not like
We had so
we
much.
had so much, but he was providing the littlest things that he could provide for us. We lived in a place in Ijesha, Sijuadi streets. My dad could not even handle us again. I had to now share his children. My auntie came to look for me and told me that they got a call. I said, what is the call about? Because it was not expected. They just told me that my dad vomited blood and stewed blood at his working place. That I need to come back. I was confused. I'm like, how come? This man ate very well this morning and left. So what's the problem? That was the genesis of my dad's sickness. So Lutz was handling. Then they suggested that my dad is going to do a surgery. So when they suggested that I would do a surgery, meanwhile, in all these things that are happening, I'm still doing content. I'm posting online. So I'm very, very much normal online. I never brought up my dad's case online whatsoever. I was just doing skits and I was taking care of my dad. So then I collected so many jobs without doing those jobs till today.
Wow.
Yeah, so as time goes on, I paid off everybody, gradually. So why I was collecting it because I needed to. When someone is on the hospital, you have to buy drip every time. You have to buy syringe. The Lutz doesn't give you anything. Lutz will actually tell you to buy all those things for your patients. And if they come to your table and they see that the list of what they wrote, you didn't get it, they'll feel like you're not serious. They'll leave your patient. They really don't. They don't care about any human being in Lutz.
Wow.
So they just work with what they see. So I tried my best to make sure that everything my dad needed was available for him on his medical basket. I always, I was collecting different jobs. Most of my friends helped me then. Like some of my friends sent me money, like 10, 15, 20K. Nothing was taken for granted, So it was now time for the surgery. They said they want to pay surgery.
How much was the surgery for?
So they said the surgery was 170,000.
Okay.
I've forgotten the name of the surgery they called. So 170,000 naira. So I already got 120K. It was remaining
50,000.
That night they say if I don't pay, that they will have to move or they will have to discharge my dad because we're no
serious.
So I was scared. That was when I closed my eye in shame. I just posted it on my story that my dad, because before then I was even depressed. Like I was spending money and there was no result. So I wanted to like end it all and stuff like that. But
so when you say end it all, like end the career?
Yeah, I wanted to commit suicide. I wanted to kill myself.
Because of your dad?
Yeah, because nothing was happening. Imagine spending so much on something
and at a very young
age and you are not making anything. Like there's no result for what you are doing. Do you understand?
So what now? So let's delve a bit.
So I had friends that came because I posted it on my Instagram as of then that it might just be the end. You understand?
You posted on Instagram that this might just be the end.
Yeah, I posted it. I posted this the note. I just posted it. Then my phone was blowing up. Calls.
Sorry.
So
was this like an attention?
No, it was attention.
The way you were feeling at the time.
It was the way I was feeling, and I could actually do it because then I was not even thinking straight. That was just the truth. I was not thinking straight. My mom did not know. My siblings did not know. It was later I told them the story that this is what I was going to do actually. Because nobody was at home that day. I think all of them went to church. My dad was at the hospital. Then I came. Then I left. I think I was on my way to Echo Bridge. Yes, Echo Bridge now. Echo Bridge. Then my friends pulled up on me.
Wait, the Echo Bridge, like to jump inside the water?
Yeah, that was what I had in mind. So they pulled up on me because I was running. I was literally like running. So I don't know how they did, but I made sure I told Nnamdi that
this is
what this is where I'm heading. Nnamdi was like, then I switched off my phone. I don't know how they pulled up on me. Then so my friend drove his mom's car that day. So I forgot the name of his car. This is it Mazda? No, it's not Mazda. It was a small car. The car is small. I'm trying to give emphasis on the car because we were like 8 people inside that car. So all my friends came out. They stopped me. They like held me back. And I was like, am I crazy? What am I thinking about? Blah, blah. Then they took me to Domino's Pizza. They got me pizza. All of us were just chill. We were just. I forgot about everything that was wrong with me that day. I was just happy.
Money was just your problem.
Money was my problem because I was spending it and my dad is not getting better. Do you understand? So it was not like, well, why am I even spending this thing? Do you get? So it happened like that. So that point, my friends really, really like came through for me. Most of them, they were even crying when I was telling them everything that was happening and stuff like that. So they were not like that I'm not alone, that anything that I should let them know. It's not like they had, but this littlest thing, they'll tell their parents, so stuff like that. So when they did,
you said you posted the stuff online. And
I took it down. I took it down that evening.
Okay, not the contribution part.
Which
that
one?
You wanted the contribution.
Okay, then I posted about the surgery.
Yeah.
About the surgery. Then when I posted it on my story.
Yeah.
So one guy, I don't know the guy from anywhere. He's in America. I had to even post my dad picture, the condition of how he was. So people were like, I'm really going through this kind of thing, and I didn't state. So yeah. So he now said, bro, how much is left? And I told him, it's just 50,000 left for me to pay the surgery money. He just said, okay, I should hold on immediately. I don't know how he sent the money directly to my dad's bank account.
Wow.
He sent 70,000 there. I was thanking this guy. His name is Tobe Chuku. Till today, we're still good friends. He's based abroad. The guy just came through for me, not once, not twice, not 3 times. He came through for me very well. So he did all that, and I quickly went to go and pay the 170,000 for the surgery. I told my dad that I would book the surgery for tomorrow. He was crying. He was even wondering how the money came out because his own money has finished. He doesn't have money again. So the next day, they brought the terms and conditions that it's a 50-50. He might die. He might not. So it's a normal. I feel like it's a normal something you need to sign and stuff like that.
Oh.
So after I did all that and we pay, and it was not the day for the surgery. They gave him a date for the surgery. When he now went in for the surgery, on that day of the surgery, they were like, so me and my mom was there. On that day of the surgery, they were not like, they'll come out in the morning to give instructions after they've taken all the patients in, because it's not just one person they do surgery, different people. They'll not be like, a dead body can pass here now, that it might be your family member, that you guys should just be prepared for the worst and prepare for the best. They'll just make you feel unnecessarily scared.
What?
So, like, during the surgery day, like, 3 bodies died. Like, they just carried dead body and pass. But they've wrapped the body, just carried the body and pass. Carried the body and pass, carried the body and pass. So, there was one day I carried the body and pass, and I called my dad's name. I just stand up. I wanted to piece on my body. I said,
like, as per carrying him away as a body?
So a dead body, they carry the dead body and pass. So if they carry the dead body and pass, the next name they are calling is the name of that person that died.
Okay.
So a dead body, they carry the dead body and pass us.
Yeah.
And then one doctor now came out and immediately called my dad's name.
Yeah.
So I was scared. Even my mom said they had to even check her BP because, they now called my name and I said, what happened? So he now said that I should go and get some drugs for my dad, that they are done with his surgery, and stuff like that. I was relieved. I'm like, so after my dad's surgery in April, my dad did not still come back to our old house.
He went
to his auntie's house, the Nightel building. So he stayed there. My dad was recovering good. After the surgery, he was healthy. His body was okay. So there was a test that Lutz said we should do. That was during the same April. There was a test that Lutz said we should do. And when we did that test is going to dictate if there was a little cancer that was growing in his stomach.
Body. So what was wrong with him all this while?
At the end of the day, I think it's cancer. I don't know. My dad's stuff started from ulcer, started from this. They called it differently.
Everything.
By the end of the day, they said it's cancer. So I want to believe it's cancer. So when the test, so they brought out a meat from his stomach, and we carried that thing to the lab. It took a very long time for them to detect. Afterwards, I was even praying that nothing should bring my dad back here again, Then I'll check the tests. I went to collect the results. The doctor checked it, said, my dad is free to go. We're even happy, like, daddy, you're okay. Yeah. My dad was healthy, he was eating anything, he was okay. Now, after every 3 months later, my dad's stomach, the abdomen side started becoming strong, like very, very strong. This was sometime during June, if I'm not mistaken, June, July of 2019. So meanwhile, before that June, July, during that period, like my comedy is already becoming a thing, like 60, I was in 60 something K followers, 60 something K followers then. So me and Nidu were now going for like interview, stuff like that. It's not like although we're popular, but we're not too strongly popular, but people say knowing us gradually.
Knowing the face, yeah.
Then in May, I think early May, I now mimicked Rema. Rema just came out then. I mimicked Rema, and out of nowhere, that video went viral. Like the video was sensational. The video was viral. Don Jazzy posted it. Don Jazzy messaged. That was when I blew up. Like my followers was flying from 60 something K in the space of 1 week. I entered 100K followers. I'm like,
wow.
What? But during that period, I was still going through my dad's crisis and stuff like that. No, during that period, my dad was
already getting better.
It was okay. It was getting better.
Yeah.
So I was like, everything is balanced. I entered 100K followers. I was booming. I was getting jobs. I was now doing job of like 70K, 80K, 70K, 80K, that range. It was good. I was okay. So when I'm doing the jobs, it's not like the job is coming like every time, but I was getting jobs like every week. So then in July or June, when my dad started noticing that thing, and I went to see him. I checked this stomach.
So all this time he has not come back to the house. He was still there.
No, because that's our plan. So the next plan was to move out.
Oh.
The next plan was to pack out, because for me, I already brought out money like 600,000 or 700,000. Then I'll say we must pack out from this house. You understand? That was my next plan. My dad said reducing weight every day. His stomach started becoming big. That place started becoming strong. Before you know it, one day his eye now turned yellow. You know when somebody's eye is yellow? My dad's eye was yellow. I literally didn't know what was going on. In my mind, this man was okay.
Everything was fine.
Everything was okay. Before you know it, my dad now started losing weight. He now started becoming weak. When he now went to stool one day, he stood blood again. So that time he stood that blood, that was the last day my dad stood until he died. That was July. That was that July, August. That was the last time my dad
So when did he die?
My dad died December 17 of 2019. So when it was getting crazier was when we now had to rush him back to Lutz. So Lutz now started their job again. So they were now so his tummy was very big. Like his tummy was very big and he was slim. My dad had changed. If a drop of water touches his tongue, it will look as if something triggered something in his body. He could not even take anything. So his food then was just drip. He was always taking drip. That was his food.
Wow.
So we were hoping for another surgery. The doctor said there's no room for surgery yet, that they don't see a reason why they should do a surgery, that there's no blah blah blah.
But did they run some tests and no?
They did all those tests, but they were saying that there was no surgery. So at that point, like when it was already getting late, I now reached out to one of my friends that is in Germany, that's a doctor. He now said he's going to prepare an emergency invitation, something
for your dad,
for my dad, so that they can bring him to the US, to Germany, and they will do an immediate surgery for him. And then I didn't even have much, but I was willing to go extra mile, beg, do whatsoever. Just me and my dad, let's just travel. Emergency. I'm sure they will give him the visa, and get it done, so you'll be okay. So the money I had then, no, before then, when my dad came back to the hospital, We were just doing the normal treatment, normal treatment. He has not stood, just normal treatment, normal treatment. My dad had gotten too slim, like I could never recognize my dad again. So now, fast forward to, during this period was when I was still doing my content and my dad was critically ill. So I mean, one or two people knows. I went to some people's DM, like some people's DM. I told them that, see, this is what I'm going through, but I can't post it online or cast it, but this is what I'm going through. So some of them sent me money, 50K. Some people I expected to do for me, didn't do for me, but it's his life. So I believe that it's life. I didn't, so I got all this stuff. I small support from people and less support from others and stuff like that. So when I now finally, this was December, the 1st of December. The 1st of December.
You were gathering that money to fly out. You were gathering the support to fly out your dad.
Yes, because I wanted to. The guy was already doing. So before the guy even finished planning, it was already. I told him what the doctor said. Then he gave up. He didn't even want to tell me that.
What did the doctor say?
I'll get to that. So like during December period, during that December period, 1st of December, we were still doing the normal. We're still hoping that the doctor come and tell us, oh, it's time for surgery. To now have nothing. They were still saying that it's not time. That so I don't know the test they did. Then on the 10th of December, which was 7 days before my dad died, they now came and told me. They called me. They told me that in 1 week time my dad is going to die.
What?
Yeah, that's what they told me. They say 1 week time my dad is going to die. I'm like, I don't understand, doctor. Why? What is going on? They said the report shows that it's something cancer, and it has circulated all over his body. So there is nothing that they can do. That they are sorry that my dad is going to die. That is it's best that they tell him to let him know, so he will have his last minute, his last time on earth before he died. And I told them that okay, that they've told me that they should not tell him, that they shouldn't tell him, that it's fine. They shouldn't tell him that we, that the family, will know how to grieve with him before. I just said, let me go and, I think I went to go and pick my dad's card from the counter. Then I already saw the doctor telling my dad
what?
That he's going to die. So that was why I lost it. Then I beat up the doctor. I beat the doctor up, like I cut him loose. I cut his mouth. Then they rushed the doctor to emergency. They carried the doctor to the hospital. So it was crazy. So I was pissed because I was really, really pissed off. I was frustrated. I was like, don't tell him. Like, even if he tells him, it's not a problem, but I was just too frustrated. I just want to
tell him.
So my dad was weak. My dad was just on the bed. He was just looking at what was happening. He couldn't even say, so they pursued me out of the hospital. My mom was there. So that week I brought Nidu to the hospital to come and see my dad. They could never allow Nidu come safe to enter. So my dad had to just try. They pushed him in a wheelchair, came outside. They took picture with my dad. Then I did a birthday celebration for him, those last things that week. So exactly 1 week interval. It was on a Friday, around 1, I think it's around 1:10 in the afternoon. I just got to the hospital and my dad I just saw my dad on the bed shaking. I carried him up in my hand like this. He was just shaking. I called the nurse. Nurse came. They did nothing work. They now put something in his mouth, one air stuff. My dad was just doing like all these cow, like they put pumper in their mouths and stuff like that. Nothing. The next thing, he just stopped, breathing. I was just looking at my dad dying like, are you fucking serious? Like, I was surprised. I've never seen that kind of thing before. Then his tummy that was big became very, very less. Everything that was in his tummy, everything came out through his mouth. It was black, completely black. So that was how I lost my dad. And when I lost my dad, I was broken. Like, even if that, so my mom was at the hospital that day, but my mom went to do a test. So I was even happy that my mom didn't even see it. So I now had to beg the nurses.
Was this on the 7th day? This get to the
this
7th.
This was happening on the 17th. My mom was at the hospital that day. All of us were at the hospital. My mom, my dad's sister, they were there. So me, I was supposed to come earlier, but I had to finish up something I was doing at home. Then I came to the hospital. And when I came to the hospital, was when my dad died in my front. You know, the nurse now told me that she's sorry that my dad is dead and stuff like that. I was just shocked. I'm like, not like I was shocked, but I was. First of all, I had this good feel and I had this bad feel. The good feel is that
Finally, he gets to rest.
it didn't even get to rest. Like it was just like I was carrying a lot of load
in your hair.
and it just looked as if everything just dropped down. But the other side was, I can't believe that I've lost one
Your
of my
father.
parents. It was just so. How do I want to say it? It was crazy. So, as a sharp guy, I called my pastor's wife. I told her that, see what happened, that my dad is dead. Then she now said, where's my mom? I said, my mom is downstairs. My mom saw me from upstairs. So initially, tears was already on my eye. I held myself. I didn't want to cry. So my dad's sister already came up. They couldn't allow my mom. I already told the security that please don't allow, because they will not allow visitors until 5.
Okay.
So my mom now asked me of my dad, and I said, no, I told my dad's sister that my dad is dead though. She now started screaming, and I told her that why is she screaming? That does she want my mom to hear and stuff like that. She now held herself. So she already knew since like 2. My dad sister, the first daughter, already knew since like 2. Then my mom did not know. I didn't because if I tell my mom, I could actually lose my mom the same day itself. Because that one, her mind used to fly. So I just used my mentality to lie to her, control her to go downstairs. Then I called all her friends, all her church member friends. I called all of them to come, so they'll come and be with her. So at around, because I plan on telling her around like 5 or 6.
When she's planning to go upstairs.
So meanwhile, when my mom was waiting somewhere, when my mom was waiting somewhere downstairs with her friends had already come around at 3 or so. I called my mom's younger sister. She came, everybody came. I was already running around trying to clear hospital bills and run around for
try to sign out and leave the hospital.
Yeah, just sign out, then pay for the mortuary stuff for him to just stay there for a day. Then the next day they have to move him to the village. But since I was doing it while my mom was there, my mom was just seeing me going up and down. Yeah, she doesn't know what I was doing. I was just doing all those shit, So while I was doing all those things, meanwhile, in the process of, before my dad died, this was in 2018. Sometime in 2018, I got a very, very convincing offer that I felt like would have been a life-changing thing for me.
So why didn't you take it?
There's this man from South Africa. I don't know who he is. I don't know who the man is. The man just DM me that I like you. You have a very good project. Your project looks like something that's going to be very big and stuff like that. I'm like, thank you, sir. He says he's coming to Nigeria in the next month. That we'll meet. That he has this project for me. He showed me the contract. He's going to give me a Corolla car, a house, and 1 million naira. And an endorsement due for 6 months. Only for this man, what the man just want for me is to sleep with me. So imagine me that doesn't have anything. Me that doesn't even have 5K as of then.
With that offer.
But I could not do it. I just reject. I tore the contract. I told the man that I even insulted him that I'm not interested and shit like that. I wasn't interested. So fast forward to when my dad now died, and now my auntie.
Were you now regretting why you didn't take that offer?
Never.
Okay.
I never regretted.
Okay.
I never regretted. But at some point, after after the whole burial and stuff, after I've settled they told my mom was screaming. My mom was not herself. Like, my mom was screaming. So me, I grieved my dad for like the whole of 2020. I grieved because I really felt it. Maybe because I was the person that was with him in the hospital.
Him the most, yeah.
I felt it bitterly. Like, every day I'll be crying. Every day in my house I'll be crying. Then after the whole burial thing happened, we did the burial in January 11th. We did the burial. Coming back to Lagos is a problem because I don't have money. So I had to beg my friend. I begged my friend. My friend sent me money. How much did he send me then? I think he sent me like 30K or so. And I booked bus for me, Nedu, Nedu. Ebuka was staying with my uncle then.
Okay.
So I booked for me, Nedu, and Lillian, my younger sister. We had to come back to Lagos. Then that 600K that I did not spend, I now
you wanted to use for the rent?
And I used it to rent a new house. So I moved my family from the old house that they are to a new one. That was in that same December, before we even traveled.
For the burial.
Yes. So the burial money came through, I think I had friends, family, and some idiots that refused to bring money when my dad was sick, which I don't appreciate them.
That's today. When they will actually show
up to bring money. So stupid. So when we got back from the village travel, I got to Lagos. So I remember I was not motivated to do anything. Like I wanted to give up. I just say, let me just be there. I didn't want to do anything. That was when Nedu school has resumed, but Nedu couldn't go to school. Why? I could not pay school fees. Nedu had to change school because we've changed environment. So Nedu had to change school. I can't be stressing him to be going from where we are to another place. It was so far. So I now wanted to change school for Nedu. So it was difficult. I could not. So Nedu was not like. So that was where I actually knew my brother was actually a blessing to me and my family. So he told me that because my name is Chukwudike, so they call me Chukwudi. I was not like, bro, Chukwudi, if you don't have money, I didn't even know that Nedu listens to what I tell other people, over the phone or something. So he now called me one day and told me that, bro, Chukwudi, it's okay if you don't have money to pay my school fees. I'm not worried. Like we can actually shoot for a long time. When we have money,
we'll go back to
school. Put me in school.
Wow.
So that made me really, really tear up. I didn't believe Nedu could tell me that kind of thing. So when he told me, I was motivated. The next day, I called Ash Mushi. I called Ash Mushi, which I still appreciate her till today. She's a very sweet girl. When I called her, I was like, I just got back. Please, I would like to feature you in the content. She came through for me. With all the stress that she stressed, she came through. We shot a content. So after my dad's burial, the first person I did a content with was Ash Mushi. Then I did. So from there, I continued doing content. TikTok was now being the rave. Then I didn't even have followers until I was like 7K on TikTok. So I was just posting videos randomly on TikTok. One day, I did the box cover. Rodrichi, the box cover. I did it and it went viral on TikTok. Went viral on Facebook. Bob challenge, Bob Daddy. I did it. It went viral. Like my video was just clicking.
Everywhere.
Me and Nidu was just hitting. Then I got my first big job of 250K.
Wow.
So meanwhile, when we moved to our new house, we didn't even have a chair. I was so. You call me 250. I say, wait, what am I doing for this brand? Like, how many months?
Let's know.
Like, I just got job of 250K and I was happy. Like they paid me complete. I paid for chair 130K then. Did chair immediately. I started setting up my house gradually. Brought my mom and my sisters back from the village.
Wow. So they were still in the village at this time?
Yeah. So they brought my mom, my sisters back from the village. They came back to Lagos. So I now told my mom to stop that business. I like that kiosk business thing. I used one mind to tell her. It's not like I just used one mind because then I had nothing. But so jobs kept coming. I got Dr. FX job of 350K. I'm wondering, like, are they sure they know who they are paying? Una know that they pay.
What?
Like, I was not saving, so then I've never started saving, but I was really seeing some certain amount of money that I've never seen in my life.
Before.
Then pandemic happened, That pandemic, me and Nedu now you can be shooting video every day. Like, we're shooting content back to back. My brain was hot for content. We're shooting back to back. Like, every content we're just posting. People loved us. TikTok started pushing my video to some extent. I hit 500K on TikTok. That
you have 5 million on TikTok right now, right?
I have almost 7 million followers on TikTok, which makes me the most followed comedian on TikTok, actually. But yeah.
So say it.
so like the whole 2020 passed, and we were doing, we're doing what we had to do. So many things I had to do. So in 2020, I met 2020 during the NSAS stuff. I came out. I met so many people. So even when I came back as of then, I got like messages from people I never expected, like Rema,
wow.
Zlatan. So many people messaged me. I was like, bro, it's one of those things. Take heart, blah blah blah. So when I now went to NSAS, when I went to the NSAS P, I now met Nasty Black.
Yeah, your new best
Yeah,
friend.
my guy, So I met Nasty Black at the NSAS. Although me and Nasty had met before, like in 2019. Me and Nasty had met 2019, but it was not like official. But now we met. So I didn't even know he was an Igbo guy. So he now spoke Igbo with me. We were speaking Igbo. We were cool. So next thing, we just became close, just like that too, because our story match. Do you understand? Yeah, kind of. Just became close and became cool. So Nasty even had a car then, a Camry. I was surprised. Like, see,
When
bro,
did
you
you
get a
get
car.
money to
You
get a car?
get. You not told me that. That car is essential. The car is very, very important and stuff like that. Nasty changed my mindset. So then the management I was in were really, really ripping me off.
Wow.
So jobs that I'm supposed to be getting paid
Money
like
from.
1.2 million, they'll pay me like 250k, 350k.
Wow.
So Nasty opened my eyes to all these things. Then I was determined from December of meeting Nasty till March, April, I got my first car.
Wow.
Because I saved, I got
True
my first car.
motivation, yeah.
Then I got my first car. That was a Camry. Then Nasty self was happy, surprised. So Nasty changed my mindset when it came to money. I started saving, I started investing, I started, putting my mind in different things. Like I feel like it's not just skit making that yeah. So I started doing this, I started doing my skits took another shape. I started taking this content in like it has to be
job.
mad. Yeah, I took it as a job. Yeah. So now after pandemic, school is about to resume. Then
you stayed at home for how many years?
For a whole year, I didn't go to school. So me, I already made up my mind that once this pandemic, if school want to resume, I'll put him in the most expensive school. Not even about most, the best school in that area. So I went to go and ask for the best school in the area. Everybody was mentioning one school. Then that school, I just went there, registered him with him. That was almost 200 and something K that cost me to register him in that school. So I registered him there and started going to school again. We were shooting, he was going to school. Then after like 9 months, I didn't even drive my car up to a year. I changed. I bought another car. I bought an SUV.
It's on the pretty proud though. Please, a grass to great story.
So my mom, I told my mom not to work. I told my mom in 2027 not to work again. So I'm always, putting my mom on like some monthly allowance so I should rest, just relax because of all the stress she has been through all the year. So from there, I started meeting so many people, like so many people I never expected to meet in my life. I finally shot a content with Don Jazzy. I communicated with so many people. I was shooting, like it just looked as if. So when I look back and I'm like, if my dad had not died or something, what would have happened? Do you understand? And at the same time,
you wouldn't have been motivated.
I don't think I would, because I wouldn't even have met, like I feel like, so that was this aspect of my story is what just told me that anything that happens in life happens for a reason. Like no matter what, if someone that you really, really, really love die right now, like that person has to die for something to happen.
Wow.
So if that person I don't want to use death as a phrase, but if something has not happened, what you're expecting would never ever happen in life. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that is
something strong has to happen.
Something strong, something like a sacrifice, like something has to happen for you to experience that breakthrough that you're looking for. And it might be something that will hurt you the most. It might be something that will pain you the most. Do you understand? So, that was what happened then.
Well, let me ask, if you had money, like this, like I'm not saying you're the wealthiest, but you know, basic amenities, do you think your dad would have died?
Yes. Because like I said earlier, it was not something, it
medical.
was beyond medical. It was beyond medical. It's only if I can't even question God right now. Like I can't even question what would have happened or what would not have happened. But the thing is, the man tried. He tried. My dad was sick for 4 years. He was sick for 4 years, like when somebody is sick for a whole 4 years,
back to
back, and you're being strong about it. There were even situations where he was supposed to die and he did not die. No, now he has tried. I feel like he has tried. So I was wishing him eternal rest. Like, let me just rest. He has tried. He's not eating. He didn't eat for over 6-7 months, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't eat. He didn't stew. So what is there to live for? It's just he was like he was suffering. Since there was no solution, let him just rest. It was really, really painful. Like I've had dreams. Like I had dreams several. I mean, I don't really dream, but if I dream, I know it's something strong. I had dream 1, 2, not 2, not 3, not 4 times. I dreamt about my dad dying, and you know when that dream comes and goes, I don't even tell my mom because I'm scared. I don't even want to accept that this is what will happen. You know, so at the end of the day, everything just, I don't know how God just did, but I just felt like everything just had a turn. And thank God for the pandemic. Thank God for my brother. Thank God for the kind of mentality I have. And I'm so happy I never left family, because they were all, you know, they've been there no matter the smallest time.
All that you had.
Yeah, so nobody would have actually. And some friends that has actually been there longest, like, you know, Nnamdi. I don't want to mention names, like Nnamdi, you know, Nonso, Chigbo. I can't mention many of them, but most of them were there. They know themselves. Like they came through. They came through for me, you know. They came through for me, and I'm happy that I'm the type of person that I don't want only me. I don't want to be the only successful person. I want everybody. So when all my guys are okay, you know, when I became popular, I started referring my friend, you know, that's Nnamdi. I put Nnamdi through some people. I always make sure, like, Nnamdi has been taking my pictures. Every picture I take on Instagram, Nnamdi has been taking it since 2018 till date. And it gets better every time he takes pictures of me. And he takes pictures of big people now. I'm so happy seeing him everywhere, you know. My friend Chibo is doing well. Nonso is doing very well. You know, when we meet each other now, the only thing we do is just talk about what happened before, or the way we used to do, or stuff like that. Charles, I forgot Charles. Charles is also my guy. Charles is also my guy. So these are people that were there, like, for me, very, very well. I know I didn't mention some people, but they know.
But don't face.
They know. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, I
On
tried.
the lighter notes.
I don't like paper.
Take it. Pick one and you're going to answer.
Who open it, you or me?
You. I read it out.
Please read it and explain. Some English later help me.
What do you need less of in life?
Stress.
Less stress.
Stress.
Minimum stress.
Stress.
That was so easy.
Stress and women.
You need less women. Or you need, what do you need less, not more?
Less women.
Okay.
The women is too much.
You heard it from DK. DK says he has too many words.
Women.
He needs less of you people.
It's a podcast, so we can lie. So I'm just making the postcard lively.
It's a lie. You said it yourself that you have so many women. Thank you, DK, for coming. We do not take your presence for granted.
You're welcome.
And please, guys, like, share, comment, and always come back for more. From myself, DK, and every other person that you cannot see in this room.
I'm going to snack or water. People have deceived me.
Goodbye.
I've drank alcohol.
Goodbye.